Let's talk about how pornography affects marriages. This is a big issue in our culture. This is where I see the most damage, is in marriages. Right? And we have to ask ourselves the question, how does a woman feel when she discovers her husband has been viewing pornography? Well, she feels hurt. She feels betrayed. For her, this is adultery. Right? Now, a man may look at this and say, well, these are just images on a computer screen. Well, to a woman, it's not that way. Those aren't images. Those are people. Those are other women. And this is as serious as an extramarital affair. Okay? So, and of course, it makes them feel unattractive and undesirable. When you think of it, most of the women in pornography are between the ages of 18 and 25. In the porn industry, once you've hit 25, you're over the hill, nobody wants you. Right? But that's the general age range. And thanks to all the, plastic surgery and makeups and digital enhancements and photoshopping and all that stuff going on, these women don't exist in real life. But this is what men are looking at, and this becomes for them the model of beauty, the standard of beauty. Now, you have a wife, she's maybe in her early 40s, she's been married for about 15 years now or so, she's had a few kids. She's very beautiful, but she's not 18 anymore, and she certainly doesn't look like the women in porn. So how does that make her feel? She thinks, he must think I'm ugly. I'm no longer beautiful. I've lost my beauty. I've lost my desirability. He wants to replace me with these younger women. You can imagine how painful this is. This cuts at a woman's soul. And she thinks to herself, how can I compete? How can I compete with these women in porn? It's devastating. In fact, some women actually experience severe trauma from this, post-traumatic stress disorder. In fact, we have a name for it now. It's called betrayal trauma. Whenever I work with couples, I often have to do 3 types of counseling. I work with the husband to recover from his addiction. I work with the wife to recover from the trauma. And then I work with the couple to recover from the marital wounds. All right. And believe me, men can also struggle with this type of trauma too when their wives have become addicted to pornography. All right? This is equal opportunity here. It goes both ways. But this is what is occurring. This has a tremendous impact on the marriage and family life. What happens is, a wife loses all respect for her husband. How can she respect a man that does this? How can she view her husband as a good role model and a good father to their children? All right? And again, some women experience severe trauma from this. All right? So there's a big problem, and this can lead to severe marital problems and even in divorce. There was a study done several years ago by the American Association of Matrimonial Attorneys, also known as divorce lawyers. And what they found is that pornography plays a significant role in over 50% of all divorces. Right? This is what is going on out there. It's a serious problem that's impacting marriages. All right? So what is the danger to marriage and family life? Well, there's this delusional belief that fantasy is better than real love, than authentic love. It leads to a growth in selfishness, all right, which is a major enemy to marital love and severe harm to one's spouse. All right. There's a failure to understand and appreciate the beauty and sacredness of marital love. All right. It diminishes communication with one's spouse. It leads to sadness, anger, and a diminished ability to trust for the offended spouse. All right. It harms marital intimacy. Now, often when you hear the word intimacy in the media, what are they talking about? Sex. All right. Intimacy is not sex. Intimacy is the deep emotional connection between two people where you know each other thoroughly, backward, forward, inside out. You feel safe with one another. You can talk about anything. You can share anything. You'll never have this type of intimacy in a marriage if there are any deep, dark secrets. Right? So if someone, whether a husband or a wife, is viewing pornography, there's not going to be that healthy intimacy. It increases loneliness and anger. It creates a disordered view of beauty, the human person, and sexuality. All right. It increases vulnerability to adultery. We know that for a fact. All right. It can lead to marital separation and divorce, and it weakens the spiritual life. There is no good that comes out of this. None whatsoever. All right. In fact, I'm convinced that if every spouse in America, if every husband, every wife knew how badly pornography would damage their marriage, no one would ever want to go near it. No one would want to touch it.